praise your name in all the earth.
I'm Dave Brown with His Space Ministries. I am here today with a special friend, special guest, Melissa Metcalf Le Roy. Get that right. It's amazing God's journey in my life and how He puts people in my life to feed His children. And I'm one of His children, and this young lady here has fed me tremendously. And so, you know, she's helped me with my nonprofit, and we're actually helping to convert it over to an S Corp. But the focus for the day is who Melissa is and what she does, and she is a true child of God. So first, I'd like to open up this session in prayer. Father, we come thankful for you, just thankful for the Lord of Heaven's armies and how you work in our lives. We're thankful, Father, that you give us the opportunity to praise you every day. So today I want to take that opportunity and do just that. And as I praise you, I want to thank you for the people you're putting in my life. I want to thank you for the direction you have in my life. And I want to thank you for the love and mercy you give me in my life. Father, we love you, honor you, and praise you in Jesus' name. Amen. So here we are. You and I have been talking about doing this. We'll get into how I met you, but tell us, who is Melissa Metcalf Le Roy? Who are you?
Oh, that's a great question. Kind of a loaded question, don't you
it's
think?
loaded.
It's
loaded.
really loaded there.
It's loaded.
Yeah.
It's loaded.
So I think you kind of summed it up, right? A little bit when you started. Kind of a nonprofit guru, so to speak, and instructor in that arena for nonprofit small businesses, and then also instructor in terms of health and nutrition. So I'm
Health and nutrition.
I'm a holistic nutritional practitioner.
So the backdrop here, we're here on my patio, and you see we got the smoker going, and so we're gonna get into the nutritional side of this thing. But how we met, my wife and I was at, I'm a student at ICC, Isothermal, and they were putting on a nonprofit seminar. Mm-hmm. But I was sitting thinking, okay, here's my nonprofit, how do I help it grow? And so there was this lady teaching a nonprofit named Melissa, and I'm like, well, why don't I sign up? It's free. So I went. And I get in this room, and there's this lady in there with all the energy of an 8-year-old kid, just teaching and educating nonprofit owners about the do's and don'ts in nonprofits. And it dawned on me that I really should be running a S Corp with donors and contributors. But that's how we met. Mm-hmm. The energy part and why I think God put us together goes far beyond that. So I come home and I tell my wife about this lady, and I'm trying to put two and two together from how did I go from segue from the nonprofit to my wife and I meeting with you on the nutritional side. Do you remember how that happened? I do
remember.
How did that happen?
So that's an interesting story. So as you recall, at the end of this seminar that I was doing for ICC, I always offer, right? Even for the 2 universities that I teach for, I always offer everyone this, free Zoom consultation with me. Because as you know me, Dave, right, the most important, valuable questions, right, come after the fact. Mm-hmm. So when you're sitting there with me, in this class, right, and you're taking down notes,
coming back to me now,
action item list, right?
Yes.
And then you go back the next day or a couple of days later, depending upon your schedule, and you're like, now what did she say, or how can I really get this done? It's not really applicable in my situation, but maybe I can just take her up on that offer. I'll give her a call, and that's what you did. So you called me, and I happened to be in between meetings that day, took your phone call, and it was more than I thought that would just be a Zoom consultation. So I said, let's get together, and so we met at the coffee shop. Yep. And how we got started on that was, I think that when we went up to order, you were like, oh my, what is she ordering? And why is she ordering that?
Yes.
Right? But being a nutritionalist, I have a lot of questions.
Yes.
And so I'm sure that kind of sparked. And then when we sat down, we got kind of the business at hand over with, then we started talking nutrition. Yeah. Yeah. So
we were talking nutrition, and I went home, and Tammy and I have been working out every day. And she cooks very well for me, very healthy. But I always had a problem with Candy. And I remember the first time you talked to her, you asked her, does he rub the inside of his knee all the time? And she told you yes, you told her his body's full of inflammation. And it prompted us enough from a nutritional side to explore who you are. What can you offer us from a nutritional side? I mean, I need a knee replacement. I know I have arthritis, but why is my body always in a position of fighting?
Right.
So I have myasthenia gravis, which is a neuromuscular disorder in which my immune system is compromised to begin with. So that's another reason. As humans, we spend a lot of time in our lives destroying our bodies, putting things legally and illegally into our bodies. And I've done all that. But at this point in my life, I'm trying to take care of the vessel God gave me. So it really intrigued us as we're trying to live healthier and trying to encourage our friends to eat healthier, to discuss and maybe learn more about it. So we said, so okay, let's sit down, Melissa, and discuss what you offered us in that package of reading our blood work and really getting down deep into our nutritional habits.
Yes. So, and that's typically where I start with everybody, right? Is so your blood work gives us that snapshot in time of what's going on. And usually most people don't think, oh, well, before I have to go and have my blood work done, I really need to eat healthy. No, it's going to be a snapshot of their day-to-day lives.
Yeah.
And so as you recall, I mean, it was pretty spot on. After I read your blood work. I told you exactly what you had been eating, exactly what you had been doing.
It was amazing. Look, and I'm laughing because she looked at my blood work and said, you like candy, right? You like potatoes. All the things that I thought were manly and is okay to eat. But continue, please.
Sure.
This
so,
is amazing.
You know, once I do that, then I can kind of see how your body reacts, right, to what you've been doing. And a lot of nutrition really is historical. You know, it's how you grew up, what you were fed as a child, right? Or sometimes what you didn't get as a child, what you were denied as a child. And it has to deal also with your area that you grew up in, the country and or the world for that matter. And so I take all of that into consideration, and then I also talk to you about your goals. So a lot of people think that seeing a nutritionalist is about weight loss, but it really isn't. It can also be about feeling good. It can be about energy. I mean, if you're just like going through the motions throughout the day of, oh, I just can't wait to get home, right, and just sit on the couch. It's all I can do to get through the day. Or even maybe you are fit, but you want to be a little more fit, right? So you feel that as you're aging, you're losing some muscle tone, some muscle mass. It's different for everybody. So we sit down and we look at the blood work, and then we talk about what your goals are. And it could be all the above. Let's be honest, right? It could be all the above as we age. And what's going on. And then we also take a look at, you know, prescription medication that you're on as well. Because what a nutritionalist looks at different than traditional, right, medicine is if there's something going on, there's always a source of stress. If we can get to the source of the stress and what's causing that, then ultimately you're going to feel much better.
So I'm sitting here and my voice is a little I've got a little congestion in my throat because, as I said, myasthenia gravis. So if you catch a cold, it would be the equivalent of me having the flu, because my immune system is working against itself. So I take an immune suppressant, and so it's hard to fight this off. So that's why I'm talking the way I'm talking today. I feel fine, but my body works extra hard to clear out congestion, this summer allergies I have, and that's why it's so important what you're teaching Tammy and I about eating. So you were talking about the blood work and reading the blood work. And you looked at my blood work and you said, hey, you know, and I have great neurologists, my neurologist, Dr. Gill and Dr. Cutshaw, my family doctor in Spartanburg, great doctors. And they listened to me. But you said normally a doctor, if you're within a 0 to 10 range, they will tell you, hey, you're good. You know, you're not in a crisis mode. Just keep, you know, let's not get outside those ranges. You take that range and you redefine it. Talk to us about that.
I do. So as a nutritionalist, we look at the range. So just because you're within the range, it still doesn't mean that this is a healthy range.
So we're talking kidney function, liver function, those type of ranges.
So let's just take kidney function. So the bun creatinine levels, right, within your blood work. If you are within that range, but let's say that you're a point from going over that range, that's really where we need to focus. So that's what I look for. So if you're not currently in the middle of that range, if you're on the high end or the low end, that's where we kind of need to focus before you get to the outside of that range, whether it's the low end or whether it's the high end. Because a lot of times when you're dealing with major organ functions in your body, if you get with outside of that range, then what's going to happen is sometimes it's irreversible. Yeah. The damage is done.
Yeah. And so, because I'm on medication for immune suppressant therapy, I was on the high end. I can't remember the liver side or the kidney side, and the low end of the other. And you said, let's bring that back. Now this was November. I'll just go ahead and jump. We went on you. We started listening to you. Started hearing to the strictness of what I should be eating. Lost 22 pounds in 3 months. I feel great. That's why we're here. But we'll get the new blood work this month, and we'll see, and we'll come back and we'll talk about the actual results. But it enlightened me, and I'm a fairly educated man to life and things. But what you put in your body and what you eat and what you need to be eating is two different things.
This is true.
And the understanding of that, and that's what On Fire Healing is. So as we talk about you, as we talk about so much to get into about you, you weigh 200 and some odd pounds at one time.
At my heaviest, I was over 230 pounds.
And I just can't see it.
Yeah. There's actually on my website the befores and afters.
Yeah. OnFireHealing.com. What a journey. And that's why I say that God puts people, you can give a man a fish, you can teach him to fish. You're teaching people how to eat. You're teaching people how to sustain this beautiful vessel that God gave them. And that's why Tammy and I are so endeared to you for who you are and what you're doing. And you offer so much. But your journey was powerful. You have an Indian heritage background. You have a strong heart. You have a strong soul. You want to talk about your journey a little bit? Because it's one thing for someone to say, hey, I'm a nutritionist, I'm going to teach you how to eat. It's another thing to say, I've walked this journey. This is what this journey looks like. Let me help you. Please,
Absolutely.
Please.
Well, and I think that carries a lot of weight, what you just said, Dave, in that, absolutely. So when you go to see a nutritionalist, you want a nutritionalist to look like a nutritionalist, number one. But you want them to have a story also of why are they doing this now, right? And everybody has that why. And so my why was exactly that. 230 pounds, 9 prescription medications, a very rare, unknown cause, unknown cure, autoimmune disease. Doctors had told me when I was diagnosed early with this at the age of 21 that I would probably not live to see my 35th birthday. I'm almost 50, Dave. Yeah. So there you go, right? But the only reason that I'm sitting here today is because I took control of my health. I truly believe that everybody has that power, that fire inside of them, right? So it's a really interesting story. I know that you've listened to the other 2 podcasts of how this came about. And hopefully one day the full story will be published in a book, we hope.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
And but it took what I advocate is a complete lifestyle change. Clearly doing what I was doing wasn't working, right? So I had to change everything. And I was very fortunate to have at the time a very dear friend who was a holistic doctor and internal health specialist to help me with that. And I credit him with basically helping me save my life. So I took control, that he was there providing the guidance. And I went to work with him for several years, went back to school to become a nutritionalist, learn everything, you know, that I could, basically. And so this journey started out with me helping myself, basically, to save my life. And now I'm so honored that I get to share my knowledge to help others in this sustainability effort that I find that's kind of the season of life that I'm in now, right? Is, you know, that sustainability.
You know, it's amazing that two people with autoimmune disorders coming together to do God's work. So we're gonna get into some cooking, but I have some before and after pictures of myself. I did a prison ministry fundraiser, and there's a shot in that with me with my jacket off and a tie on. And so there's a thing that men have. What do they call it? Visceral fat. And what is the other fat? The fat that hangs over here on the. Anyway, that's gone.
Oh, from your side obliques, your love handles.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, those love handles.
So I used to tell my wife all the time, I can't get rid of these. But in the 3 months that we went on this journey, and it's been 5 months now, they're gone. And so the before and after pictures show that I said, I cannot stand when I take my jacket off. Wow, dude. And it's gone. So we're gonna get into some eating and cooking.
Wonderful.
Teach people a better way to live, a better way to eat, especially when you have autoimmune disorders or you have muscular disorders
Or metabolic syndrome.
or metabolic.
Yes.
Anything to help God's children learn how to eat a little better. So Melissa, we're gonna segue over and we're gonna do some cooking. We got the smoker going and we're gonna get at it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hi, it's Dave Brown with His Place Nonprofits. I'm with Melissa Metcalf Le Roy again. And in our first segment, we talked about Melissa's journey and tremendous amount of weight loss that you had.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that. I don't know if we touched or captured that to the extent that it moved Tammy and I to actually explore what you were all about. Talk to us, go in a little more depth about the totality of the weight loss that you had.
Sure. So
touch on that McDonald's thing, that fetish you had at McDonald's.
Right? That's a story. Yes, we've just opened up a huge story here. So as we said in the first segment, so at my heaviest I was over 230 pounds, and I think I shared with you in one of the first meetings with you and Tammy that's really when I stopped weighing myself, right? I was published actually in the national magazine First for Women about my weight loss. And when they reached out to me for my journey, they said, do you have a picture of yourself at your heaviest? Well, unfortunately I didn't. I had a picture of me. I knew actually how much I weighed in that picture because it was a New Year's Eve party. And I can remember putting on this dress, you know, getting ready, as most women do, right? And it's tight. And this was a women's size 14 at the time. And I can remember going, oh my gosh. And so I took it off and I went and jumped on the scale before I went to the party. And so then I was about 232. And had to, of course, just, you know, suck it up, put the dress back on because I didn't have anything bigger, right? And go to this party. So I probably should have been in a women's size 16 at the time, but here I went to that party in a women's size 14. And so when you kind of reach that point, right, of you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? That's kind of the catalyst that I see. Most people reach out to me when they just can't do this anymore. They're just so tired of either being so overweight, there's not enough energy to sustain them throughout the day, whatever the case may be. So I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I made a New Year's resolution that I was not going to do this anymore. And so I went out and bought a black dress, a little black dress, size 6, and I hung it in my closet. To where that way, that was my motivation. I saw that black dress every single day. So I started this journey January the 1st. October the 1st, the dress was too small. But I had told my husband at the time, you have a year to plan. Next New Year's, I'm going to be rocking, right, this little black dress. I ended up having to get another little black dress, which I did. But so today, getting on the scale this morning, 132.
Wow.
So lost.
Go, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm very comfortable with this weight. I have gotten below that. It doesn't feel good. I don't think I need to lose any more weight. Yeah. And for honestly, as a woman, that's pretty big to say. Yeah. Because most women typically aren't very happy, with their body. They don't typically share their weight, right? Yeah. And so right at 100 pounds, I've been able to sustain since 2010.
Wow, good for you.
Since 2010,
it really defines who you are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I asked you, I said, how? You said, Dave, I would pull it in McDonald's. And
oh my goodness,
you would order 4 meals.
I would actually, but, and it's I'm sure another topic that we're going to get into, right, is the sugar craving.
Yeah,
the sugar and the carb craving that in this big, huge, what I call this epidemic that we're facing in this country with the metabolic syndrome, right, with high blood pressure, with type 2 diabetes going rampant throughout society. And fast food is one of those catalysts because it's fast and it's easy, right? So if
here's
you're
what
on
I
the
didn't
run,
know. Here's what I didn't know. I didn't know that when I love Laffy Taffy, the banana, I stripped that banana Laffy Taffy and I just started eating. And I asked myself, so I buy 5 of them. And I'd eat 3 of them. And I'm like, why am I still hungry?
Right.
And I'd eat the other 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still hungry.
Right.
Explain that. Explain what's going on there.
Sure. So what typically happens here, right, in your body is that if your body is not getting what it needs, okay, from the candy, right, which really does not have any nutritional value.
So I was not giving my body anything it really needed to curb anything.
Or to sustain itself, right? So this creates then a craving, right? So I didn't get what I needed, eat more.
So
I didn't get what I needed,
so it really
eat
just
more.
a sinful lust, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very astute there. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
So, McDonald's, I'm very open and honest about my journey because I have to be, right? If anybody's going to come to me for assistance and help, I feel that I owe them the honor, right, of showing them who I truly was, who I truly am now. And I think your past defines you, right? And then how you're able to connect with people and help them along this journey as well. And so I'm very open and honest, and I would go through McDonald's drive-thru and I would order a Big Mac, a fish fillet, a plain cheeseburger, a large fry, a Diet Coke, and an apple pie, and I would polish it.
While you were driving.
While I was driving. Really safe.
I'm going to go back to one thing. In my prayer group, and we talk, we deal with addictions and alcoholism, and when we're men, iron sharpen iron. One of the sayings we have is your past does not define you. You just said your past defines you. So when you're talking about a weight loss journey,
right, your
past is what different connotation.
That's true.
Your past is what drives you to help people.
Oh, I like that better. It
well,
drives you. Yes.
But what we use in our prayer group is your past will not define you, because so many people think their past is so bad they can't reach after God. And so some people whose weight is so out of control they think they can't come back. Right. Okay? And that's where you're making that bridge. I love what you just said there. Yeah. So, and sharing the way you share that, hey, I've been to McDonald's and I've got like that 2 for $5, whatever. But what you just said you ordered, I'd be hurting.
I know.
But wow, it's just so powerful that you can come from that. And that's why I say your past does not define who you are today.
Right.
That's a William Logan. I'm gonna give him credit for that one.
Nice.
Wow. So, we're talking about eating. And you told me about the sugar. You told me about the carbs and the bread and all that stuff. And we've done a cooking session showing people why that's so important and how to curb those sweet cravings with those protein balls that you made on our second segment. But we want to finish up with this third segment with you, talking about the 3 F's.
Yeah, 3 F's.
Now I need you, because this sort of brings you into the total package. Who is this lady? 'Cause I tell Tammy all the time, I'm like, I don't know how she does it. I tell people say, Dave, you look great, so what are you doing? I say, go to this website, call my friend, tell her I sent you, see if she can help you. But you're much more than just the nutrition. The 3 F's, talk to us.
Sure. So it's interesting how the 3 F's kind of came about, right? So the other side of what we're talking about really, and what I think kind of encompasses everything that I do, is sustainability. Sustainability for individuals and sustainability for organizations. So the other side of myself, as you know, I'm an instructor for 2 universities here in North Carolina, and I teach. My specialty is nonprofit management because I love the nonprofit sector. The nonprofit sector saves lives every single day in this country. Can you imagine our society without nonprofit organizations? So whether they are saving human lives or animal lives, or touching those lives, right? They have their hands in improving the quality of life for citizens all across this country, nonprofits. But what I find a lot of times is nonprofit organizations are driven by passion, but passion just isn't enough to get the job done, right? So a lot of times, particularly before COVID, I would be asked to go to conferences, do opening keynote speeches, right, on 5 ways we've designed our organizations not to succeed in the nonprofit sector. And I am commonly known for the 2 F words of finance and fundraising, because as you know, I also have a TED Talk on fundraising for nonprofit organizations, and that's really one of my passions. As you can tell, Dave, I'm not a shy individual.
No, you're not.
I am not afraid to ask anybody for money.
No, you're not.
Right? I love fundraising. But there was one day that I was driving actually for one of the universities to teach, because they send me all over the country. And I've always kind of struggled with, how do I really encompass everything that I do, right? Because it really seems a far stretch when you say, well, I'm a holistic nutritional practitioner and I'm also an instructor in nonprofit management. It seems like this wide field between the two, right? And so I'm, driving, and usually I'm listening to, a podcast or an audiobook or something like that. And this day, it was just a quiet day. I just wanted some meditation time. I just, wanted to be with Creator, just, talk and just, and be open, right, to wherever my mind took me. And so I'm driving, and I thought, well, you know what? Yes, I do like those 2 F words, right? Because I commonly joke when I'm in conferences or in the classroom, right? And I say, it's the 2 F words that you never want to say in a boardroom, because everybody freaks out, all the board members, right? Fundraising and finance, right? Because most people aren't comfortable with fundraising. They're not comfortable with their own finances. Now they've been put in charge of this, organization's finances. They're fiscally responsible, right? And I was thinking about sustainability, because really what I love to do for organizations is bring to the table those golden nuggets, those tools and or a toolkit that they can take back into the organization and advance that organization to the next level of what I call sustainability. And I thought, really, that's what I'm doing with individuals as well as a nutritionalist. The other F word that came to me along with this drive was fitness. Because in order to be sustainable, an individual has to be fit. So whether this is fit in terms of healthy weight, fit in terms of energy to sustain their lifestyle, right, through this lifestyle change, right, then that opens up other doors. So if you think about, if you start off the day with something that you're grateful for every morning, it sets the tone and the theme, right, for you throughout the day. But if you start off the day and you get out of bed and you're like, I don't want to do today, right? You're not going to be successful, and you're not going to be sustainable. So fitness has to come first with both individuals and organizations, right? And then when you set that tone and theme, funding is just, it's automatically, abundance is brought to you, right?
Wow, that's a powerful segue to.
And then without funds, there's no financial management. Right? So then we have to be comfortable also in the financial, because, we all wish that money grew on trees, right?
Yeah.
All of us would have
Yeah.
plenty of abundance. Unfortunately, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only figs grow on trees. Huh? Yeah. So Tammy has joined you in the fitness class that you teach over at Lifestyles here in Forest City. By the way, Melissa is the wife of Chris, the police chief in Forest City.
Yes.
And that's a journey.
That is a journey.
We'll
That's another book, another topic.
And we'll have more segments to where we can get into a lot of the things that you're doing behind the scenes that I don't think our lovely county understands. I don't think that they really capture who you are. And that's why I hope we can highlight a child of God who can help us understand that. But getting back to the 3 F's, I'm sitting in the class at ICC, and I'm struggling with the whole nonprofit thing. And there's so many small nonprofits in Rutherford County that I'm working with that are dealing with the substance abuse community, the prison reentry community, and they're struggling to raise funds. And I have advised many of them to come to your seminars, and I think some of them have taken the opportunity, because you were so enlightening as to the truths about what you're doing. You can't be a person who is not like asking for money and run a nonprofit, and you can't spend your own money and run a nonprofit. It's illegal.
Right.
So you give other options, alternatives, and you teach them the financial fitness of running a nonprofit the right way. And it ties into being a fit person.
Yes.
If you're fit of mind, fit of nutrition, it gives you an opportunity to be sharp enough to see what it is that you need to be doing, or to see the people that God puts in your path to guide you. And I'm so thankful on my fitness journey, my nutritional journey, and even in my marriage, that Tammy and I are able to see people when God puts them in our path. And when that happens, the light bulb goes off. It says, this is why we're here. So the three F's, I say the 3 P's, the 3 F's. The 3 F's. It's really powerful. And as we get into more segments with you, we'll be exploring those things. We'll be exploring what you're doing. We'll do more cooking.
Yes.
I have some nice little recipes of my own I'm learning. Now I have to call Melissa and say, hey, can I have this? And I think you told me the first time I called, no, you can't have barbecue on your ribs. It's full of sugar. And I knew that, but I'm like,
I said, here's my recipe, make your own.
Yeah, make your own. And we'll be getting into healthy ways to make sauces that are healthy. There's so many, and there's so many stores that offer healthy, the olive oil. Don't buy the olive oil in the plastic, buy it in the, and there's a store in Shelby, what's the name? I'm giving them a pitch.
Uptown Oils, I believe.
Uptown Oils in Shelby, North Carolina. If you want really good olive oil.
Oh, yes. And balsamic vinegars.
Balsamic, and Tammy's got a counter full in the house. It's full of. But Melissa, thank you for sitting down with us. It's a pleasure to have you. You'll be back. This is a new segment on his space called Mind, Body, and Soul, featuring Melissa Metcalf Le Roy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gloria is your name in all the